This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I'm Karen Beach, and this is the Journey Step by Step Christian podcast. And you know what Jesus talks a lot about, and I think he talks about it because it's something we can relate to, but he talks a lot about money, about managing it, having it, not making it, a master, not worshiping it, what you're supposed to do with your money. He talks a lot about money. A lot of his parables deal with money. And I think he does that in part because it's such a central part of our lives. It's easy to make money your master, because it has such influence. I'll give you a great example. I've spent the past 2 weeks without hot water because I needed to get a water heater. And what stopped me from getting it 2 weeks ago? You guessed it, money. So I got paid. I got what I needed to get, and I was able to take a glorious hot shower today. Thank you, Jesus. Anyway, money is something that all of us need to know how to operate with, how to manage. And we always talk about tithing, but it goes beyond tithing. What are you doing with that other 90% of the money you're making? Are you using it to get out of debt? And our guest today, Karen Ford, is going to talk about investing. A lot of people I think we think that investing is outside of our wheelhouse. It's not something we're comfortable with, but it's something we can do, especially when it comes to real estate. And that's what Karen is going to talk to us about. It's a great way to invest, and it's a great way to help other people. So we want to talk about that. And I'm not going to waste any time. I'm Karen Beach, but I'm talking today to Karen Ford. So welcome to, have you noticed all the memes about Karen lately?
I have not, and I hope they're nice.
Apparently, we always want to talk to a manager.
Oh my goodness.
Apparently,
Lord.
we're the ones that say, "Can I speak to your manager?" And I literally just had to do that last week, but it's not like a thing with me. Like, if I have to speak to your manager, it's pretty serious.
Right.
But apparently that's what we're known for. Karens are known for having to speak to the manager.
Oh, that's not a good thing to note.
So,
but we're both in the same boat, right?
Exactly. So, we need to speak to a manager. You learn something new every day. Now, if you give your name to somebody, like an exasperated waitress or something, and you say, "I'm Karen," and she rolls her eyes, now you know why. now you know why.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Karen, one of the things that you said when in your introduction, you were talking about how money is so very important, and I certainly absolutely agree with you. But I thought it was interesting, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the Bible, there's about 500 Bible verses on the topic of prayer. But there are over 2,500 Bible verses concerning money. And I just thought that was interesting because, God's not saying that money is more important than prayer. However, our attitude towards money can determine where our heart is. And so I thought that was so great that you had mentioned that because Jesus did talk more about money than he did anything else. He talked about it more than heaven, more than hell, and more than prayer. He talked about money. You can look at his parables, and 18 out of the 32 parables that he had deal with money. So I think that's very interesting as well.
But that's the one topic that can reach everybody.
That is so very true because everybody needs money.
I don't have kids. Some people don't have kids. Some people, have careers. Some people don't. But everybody's got some money issues. I don't care how wealthy you are. If you're really wealthy, your concern is staying that way. The rest of us, we just want to get by, and have hot water. Oh gosh,
Right.
you have no idea. You have no
Oh my
idea.
goodness. Oh my
Literally,
goodness.
I was praising God in the shower, like, thank you, Jesus, because this is such a big deal. But it goes to show you that money is important. Money matters, and the verse everyone loves to misquote is money is the root of all evil. Money isn't the root of all evil. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil.
That's right. That's
So
right. God is okay with us having money. He doesn't want money to have us. So,
exactly.
so yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah.
So let's say that someone is listening, they've got their debt managed kind of under control. They're putting a little bit into savings. But when you say words like invest, that's like that beautiful bird going straight over your head. People people don't really connect with investing. We think of investing as something rich people do or people on Shark Tank do, but we don't really think of it as something that we could do. But that's not the right approach, is it?
No, it isn't. Actually, all of us are able to invest, and invest isn't a word that we need to be scared of. Sometimes in the world of finance or when it comes to money, there's so many times that people think, oh, I could never do that. But yet, yes, you can. If you can read or if you can listen to a podcast or, anything like that, investing does not have to be scary. Whether you've done it before or whether you've never invested before, you're able to do it. Because if you can read or if you can listen to a podcast, you can learn how to invest. Now, we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that you don't have. I'm not going to recommend that you go take a huge bank loan so that you can invest that money. No, we don't want to do that. We want to start with some money that we presently have. Whether you have $10, $100, $1,000, or more. It doesn't take that much to start investing. Let me give you an example. One place that you can begin investing is to prepare for your future, such as a 401k, which is a retirement plan, or a Roth IRA, which is also a retirement plan. Now, I recommend to folks to check with your employer. Do they offer a retirement plan? And sometimes they do. And they will actually even take that amount of money out of your paycheck before you get paid. So you could even start as low as $10 or $20 every payday. That can go into a 401k or a Roth IRA. If your employer does not offer a retirement plan, there are lots of financial companies out there, Aflac, Edward Jones. I mean, there's Vanguard. There's tons of them out there where you can sit down with the individual there in their office and let them know, look, I don't know a whole lot about investing, but I know I need to plan for retirement. Please help me. And they'll let you start even low and slow. So that's the first thing I recommend to people is to plan for the future with some type of retirement plan. Now, whether you already are doing a retirement plan or maybe you want to get your feet wet a little bit more into investments, stocks are another option. I am an avid stock investor, but I also, let me just say this disclaimer, make sure that you do your due diligence. In other words, don't say, well, I've got $500. I'm going to go just buy. Just look at the track record of that company, because there's lots and lots of companies out there that offer their stock in their company for you to purchase. Amazon is one company, although their stocks are, I think, $1,500 or $1,700 a share, which you may or may not be able to do that right now. But you could also, there's other companies out there, Dollar General, about 14 years ago, Dollar General stock was about $20 or $21 a share, and now it's up to over $150 a share. And you may or may not be able to buy that particular stock. But there are other stocks out there as well. You can purchase stocks that don't cost very much. I'm just thinking of Lisa Nicholson, who is a investor and self-taught entrepreneur, and is a multimillionaire over and above. And she started her own company. And then Lisa Nichols, she has her own company. And if you wanted to look up her stock, it would be MNMT if you looked it up on the ticker. So that's an option. But there's other companies out there where you can purchase stock for very little or for a little bit more. But I always recommend check the status of the company. What is their track record for the last year, 6 months, 5 years, etc. So stocks are another option. And another option, which is one of my favorites, is real estate. And I could talk your ear off on real estate, but I won't. But I have a book out. It's called You Can Do It. It's on Amazon. It's on my website. But I give the absolute nuts and bolts basics on how to buy real estate, where to buy real estate, even in your state or neighborhood, buying it through foreclosures or auctions. But one of my favorite ways to buy real estate is through the state auditor auction. Every state in the continental United States has in their state what is called a state auditor office. And one of the responsibilities of the state auditor office is this: if people stop paying their taxes on their home or on a piece of property after 2 or 3 years of not paying that, those properties will end up in the state auditor office. And the state auditor office will hold an auction every year in various counties of that state. So in other words, I'm in West Virginia, and I'll go to the state auditor office website. I'll pull up the auction, and I'll see where the date, the time, the location for the particular county I'm looking in. And it'll give me sheet after sheet after sheet, lists of properties that are going to be auctioned. And then I show up at the auction, I bid, I win some, I lose some. But the properties that I buy, once I get the deed, I'll either sell them or I'll flip them. Now, I'll tell you a story about myself. I did this about 5 years ago when I first started purchasing through the state auditor office. I went to the auction. I was really excited. I got my number, and I did not do my due diligence. I did not check to see where the properties were. And of course, since then, always check to see where the properties are now. But at that time, I knew the vicinity of where this particular property was. It came up for bid. The bidding started at $10. I bid $10. Nobody bid against me. I was so excited I got this property. Long story short, I got the deed, and I thought, okay, I need to figure out where you are. I found out this was a trailer with a padlock on it and a very large sign that said, "Do not enter this was a meth house. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do with you? So I thought, no, nobody can live in you. This has to be removed. So I just put it out there just like that. I put it on Facebook, on yard sale sites, and I took pictures of it. I gave the map, district, parcel number, all of that. And I was very specific and very honest. This is a trailer that is uninhabitable. You have to remove it because it was a meth house. However, you are buying the trailer and the lot. Once you remove the trailer, you can put your own trailer there or build your home on this lot. So I advertised it and I sold it and I made money. Now that's just one example. I have bought many properties since then for a few dollars. And when I get the deeds, sometimes I sell them and let somebody else flip them. Or I'll decide, this is a really good location. I'm going to flip this property. So whether you're 18 or 78, you are wanting to delve into real estate investing, then I absolutely recommend it because it is a money maker. It is lucrative to invest in real estate. However, knowing what you're doing, learn, read books, listen to podcasts, listen to this podcast so you can be an avid learner. But real estate, absolutely love it as an investment.
Yeah, I love the way you explain that because so many people hear number one investment and they hear real estate investments and they get daunted. When I hear real estate investment, I think about my father because we owned pieces of property growing up. And he had crack addicts stealing the copper piping out of the plumbing, and he had to fix everything. Luckily, he knew how to fix stuff, so we didn't have to always hire somebody. But that's the first thing I think of, being someone's landlord, having them not pay the rent, but being able to flip that property or just buy it and resell it. That
absolutely
seems like a doable thing to do. And,
yes,
you're pocketing that money.
Absolutely. You can be a kingdom builder. Most people that are listening to this podcast are Christians, but you can really be a kingdom builder. And it's a way where God can get money into your hands. So many times we put God in a box and think, well, I don't know how you're going to get money to me. This is all I make in my paycheck. Listen, God is not limited to your paycheck.
No, he's not.
He is not. That's why the Bible says, he will meet all of our needs according to his riches in glory. It doesn't say that he will meet our needs according to the U.S. economy. He didn't say that he would meet our needs according to the stock market. And he didn't say that he will meet our needs according to our paycheck. No, he said that he will meet our needs according to his riches in glory. So God can speak to anyone, anytime, any place to get money into your hands. But many times he will give us witty ideas. He'll give us ideas and ways and avenues to make money. And real estate is a great way to do that.
When you were talking about that, it occurred to me, a lot of times I don't think God works through your job because I think, God is a jealous God. He wants the glory. And if you are going on your job, then you're going by what you can do, what your job can do. You're not going by what God can do.
That's right.
And maybe it doesn't come through your job. Maybe it comes another way, but you need to be the one to give God the glory.
That's right.
And
That's
not
exactly
your job
right.
and not your boss, but give God the glory, because God might work through that boss or that job, but he might do something totally different. Your trust needs to be in him, not in that 9 to 5 or that business idea or whatever it is.
Right. It all has to go back to trusting him in that. Absolutely. I agree. Yes. Absolutely.
Now, have you heard of this company talking about real estate investing called Fundrise?
I have not actually.
It's supposed to be a company where like you can take a certain amount of money and they invest it for you. Like you're investing in different apartment buildings, different places, but you're giving them like $50, $500, and they're investing it for you in different properties. So
Okay.
it's almost like a mutual fund for properties.
Right.
So
Right.
it's something I was thinking about before you called. Now I'm thinking about buying property and flipping it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, anytime somebody wants to invest in real estate, I really encourage them to do that because it really is a great moneymaker. Yeah.
That makes so much sense. And what are your ideas about investing in like multi-unit properties?
Multi-unit properties are another avenue way uh, to invest. Now, when you're talking about multi-unit properties, you're talking about apartment complexes. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, like something
Okay.
like that.
Yes. If you're just starting into real estate, though, I probably wouldn't take the plunge into a 100-unit apartment building or even 20-unit apartment building unless you really know what you're doing. You have some leases. You have something under your belt.
Okay.
I generally encourage folks start with a property, a house, a single family home of some sort, whether you purchase it through foreclosure or auction or state auditor auction, and get your feet wet a little bit, so to speak, before you take the plunge into a multi-unit property. Then once
Okay.
you get your feet wet and you have a few of them under your belt, then I say go for it. Yeah.
That makes sense. I have a friend of mine, she's made a career out of property management, but she
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about buying a unit. And a lot of times I've heard people, I'm from Ohio, right next to West Virginia.
Woohoo.
um, I went to OU, which is really close to West Virginia, but a lot of my family in Cleveland will invest in duplexes. And like you said, it might make sense for a certain person, but it's a lot of work involved in that.
Right.
When you're dealing with, in our case, Section 8 people, different policies, you've got to make sure everything is, all your I's are crossed, I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and doing all of that. But the way that you explained
Mm-hmm.
real estate investing makes a lot of sense, especially now that I live in Charlotte. We have a housing crisis.
Right.
So being able to buy property and flip it might be a way to get property in the hands of people that would need it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that would be a win-win situation. They would get a nice property. You would be making money by selling it to them. So there's a wide array of ways to make money with real estate. Plus, you're helping other people in the process.
Which makes a lot of sense. Helping people is always a good idea,
That's right.
especially if you're a person of faith. Helping people is a good idea. And I love the idea of investing in property because you're helping other people, but you're also helping yourself. So it's a win-win situation.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Yes, it is.
Wow. So if someone, as we get ready to close up, if someone is looking to start investing, they don't have a lot of money, they can't afford a couple stocks, a couple of Amazon stocks, but they want to start investing and they don't have a whole lot of money. What would you suggest for them?
I would suggest to them if they wanted to try real estate. Are you talking about stock or just investing, period?
I'm talking about just investing period. Let's say they've got about $500 or they've got about maybe $200, $200, $300 a month that they could invest.
Okay. If they have $200 or $300 a month to invest, then it's their decision ultimately, but I would take a portion of that and put it into a Roth IRA or 401k retirement plan. And maybe another portion of it, they could set up a separate account earmarked stock/real estate. And they could start learning about the stock market, what stocks potentially to purchase, or they might do that as well as some real estate, or they might decide just specifically stock market or specifically real estate. But, Grandma always said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So the more that you have diversification, spreading it around in various areas, the better off you'll be, instead of just putting it all into one basket, so to speak.
Yeah, listen to Grandma. She knew what she was talking about.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But that is great information. Karen, can you give me your book one more time?
Absolutely. The title is You Can Do It. Real Estate Investing Made Simple.
I'm going to have to get that myself. But, and I love the way the title, You Can Do It, because so many people think that they can't.
Right.
So many people think that you have to be an expert or you have to have this degree, and you don't necessarily need all that. Like you said, right. You can study, you can learn, and you can trust yourself.
That's right.
Just like you would trust somebody else with your money, learn so that you can trust yourself with your money.
That's right.
But it has been great talking to you, Karen. I'm really going to go look into investing right now and seeing what kind of properties I can get and flip. But thank you so much for dropping by my little show. And I'm going to end it the way I always do by telling you, dear listener, until next time, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Until next time.